Stupid. Go ahead.
Action. All right, these are 2x4x8s. Yes, they're 96 inches. I get 96 inch ones primarily because the guys that I work, and even myself, I'll forget. If I get all 92 and 5/8, sometimes I need a 96 inch one, and I screwed myself by not having a 96 inch, and they cost the same freaking thing. So there. But we'll cut our studs and our jacks. All right. Here's our rear center wall stud at 90 inches, squared along. So that's going to be 90 inches right in the center. And we'll do our little 1 3/4 thing because this is going to fit right in the center of the shed. We're going to run our little 1 3/4 line. There, we have a point to go by.
Oh, look at a cute little bug.
I know. Yeah, you better fly away. Scared. Scared.
You might be suspicious. Might be scared too.
We're about to cut it out anyway, so now can I say scared ass niggas? Alright, rear, where's it at? Rear jack studs, 80 3/4, long to, well, squared along actually. What's my measure? 80 3/4? 80 3/4. We're just marking edge marks right now. These are going to actually be 22.5 degree angles, which is a 5/12 pitch, if you're calling it a pitch. 80 3/4. That's one. Here's the second one at 80 3/4. All the way to the edge. That edge is what we're going by. Over here, we're going by the center. All right, that's the rear wall. Done. All right, here's the front wall. And cripple jacks, or cripple jacks, whatever. It works actually. 78 3/4. 78 3/4. 78 3/4. And this would normally be a whole stud. I had a piece of the stud left over, a 2x4 from the other job. And this is going to be our header. It's going to be 54 inches. 54. And that's going to be a square cut. So it'll go that. Let me get the square. Alright, we're squaring everything up we just cut. I mean, we just marked. Our header gets squared straight across. These are a 5/12 pitch. I run a 5/12 pitch on everything. I try to at least, which ends up being a 22.5 degree angle because it's a 22.5 degree angle. Normally, I'd have a miter saw, and it's easier to just lock my saw in and go with a different pitch than the standard shed. And you gotta be 30% different anyway. There's your 30% right there. Because I like locking my saw in. And it looks better actually to me. You get a little bit more roof pitch, you see a little bit more of the roof. The sidewall's a little bit shorter, but no one really goes over there and hangs out with their head near it, so really not that much to worry about. I'm gonna get a measurement. I know it's an inch and a half. Inch and a half. So if you don't have a speed square, you can square on your long boards. You can square straight across, measure back an inch and a half, and then connect those two lines, those two marks. And then you don't need a speed square or a frame square to do so. I think technically it's really an inch, not quite an inch and a half, but it works well enough. I'm just running, it's easier for me to do angles. 22.5 is kind of hard to see on a speed square though. I'm using the 5 instead, just because it's kind of easier for me. All right, this one gets done a little bit different. That point right there where we drew our little cross in there, we're going to get on up to 22.5 degrees or 5/12, and we're going to make the mark right at that point. Flip it over this way, so it pivots right there like that. Same thing, 5/12. 5/12 on a speed square. That's the line that says common. Your degrees are at the very bottom. The other one is for hips and valley measurements. It changed. It's no longer a 512 on the hip line. Along that line is a 517 then. So just to let you know that. Scratch that out. Scratch that out. Make sure I don't screw up that. And then right here on these. I missed 2 of them. How'd I miss 2 of them? I was thinking 5. I missed 2 of them though. It doesn't matter. They get waste anyway. It really doesn't have to be all that accurate. I got a few inches to work with on these. So really that 1 3/4 line is really not necessary because there's so much waste. I'll have a few good inches left on all these of waste. But what I am doing to make this go faster and more efficiently is I'm doing the middle mark first, cutting it at an angle, and that way I'll have, when I'm done here, I have 14 pieces that have an angle cut on them already. Rather than start at one end, cut that, then I have to cut this. It's easy to cut this and measure off all my long points for every single rafter to the end of the rafter. It just ends up more accurate. I'm cutting a small piece off instead of a large piece, basically. It has a lot better control of things that way. Another way to mark all these, after you mark one, cut it, and do a good job, use that for a pattern for everything. It's only an inch. All it has to do is be pretty much the same. As long as the original one is the correct angle, every one you mark with it will be the correct angle. So aim real good the first time. Be real accurate the first time. You can cut one and use it for a, I've cut one of the other ones, like the 80-inch ones. Cut that one first. That'll give you a good length one to use for an angle. It leaves you about probably 20-some inches. What was it, 80 inches? Leaves you a 16-inch piece, roughly. Which is, you know, a good length for a little pattern piece. All right, so those are all marked. We're gonna get ready to cut those. Those are marked. We're gonna get ready to cut them. We're doing it all manually with a circular saw. No miter saw. And our saw is still set. Where's the top box? Red top box, right here. We're ready to cut all the roof sheeting and all the framing. The only framing we don't have ready to cut right now is the one little block that goes over top of the header. We'll cut that later. That was kind of buried every now and then.